enjoying the game now. I want to play all the time, and you know, it's fun. I mean, golf now is fun for me. I look forward to playing. I look forward to practicing. I look forward to sending videos into the coaches, getting feedback, little tweaks, and just been a phenomenal experience. Love it. So my problem before I started the single plane swing was not one problem. It was many problems. I mean, it was just mainly inconsistency. You know, one day I would shoot, you know, a decent score. I may have broke 90 a couple of times, and that would have been a good day for me, but just super inconsistent. There would be days that I would hit some good shots, you know, maybe shoot a decent round, and then there'd be other days where I couldn't hit a ball. Like I would shank everything. The shanks were the big thing for me. Pushing the ball right, shanking the ball, you know, hitting the ball fat constantly. That was annoying, like to the point where my hand would hurt. So, you know, I just wasn't a really good golfer at all. And, you know, I put time into it. You know, I took lessons many a times, spent a lot of time at the range. You know, I would swing in my yard, you know, put two tees down in the yard and try to swing through them. Like I would work at it, and nothing was working. So what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, and, you know, expecting a change. So for me, I was like, hey, you know, I'm on the fence, but nothing else has been working, so I'm gonna go on this side of the fence, Graves Golf Academy, and just make a decision. And when you make that decision, commit to it. You know, that's the biggest thing, is you have to commit to it. And if you commit to it, you're gonna see results, I promise you. No doubt about it. If you follow what they teach you, you're gonna see results. It's just a matter of time. So one thing I really love about the academies, it's not just about the swing, you know, the full swing. It's about the short game as well. There's a lot of information and content in there that's been really useful. You know, how to hit out of a bunker, how to chip, how to putt. All of these things are just super important for your game, and that's one of the main reasons why my handicap dropped so dramatically, is because I was able to go in there and learn how to, you know, learn how to chip and putt, learn how to read putts, you know, hazard or conditions where, you know, maybe you're in the rough, or again, bunker shots. Most people hate going in the bunkers. I enjoy it now because I know how to do it, and I get a good result when I'm in the bunker. Not that I try to go in the bunker, obviously, but when I'm in there, I'm not panicking. And so, again, information on the short game, just the, you know, everything's in there. But for me, the short game is something that there's just not a lot of information out there that is, you know, is very helpful. So I love it. I love going in there and working on my short game, being able to find whatever it is I need, and it's been super helpful. What surprised me the most inside of Graves Golf Academy is, you know, when I send a video into coaches, just the knowledge these guys have. I mean, they're able to see things that I'm like, oh man, I didn't even notice that. You know, in my swing mechanics or my grip. You know, early on there was a lot of things I was working on, but you know, now that I've got it down pretty good, still making little tweaks. You know, we're always working for perfection. And again, if pros are using coaches, you know, I'm going to use them. So the coaching is just second to none. I mean, it's so helpful, and they tell you, you know, make sure you send videos in. That was very surprising to me. Is like, you know, they're super adamant about making sure that you're getting helped. Like, they don't want you to be a part of it if you're not going to use it. And you know, that was kind of odd to me. You know, they're not just trying to take my money. They really, truly care and want me to get better. And they're, you know, sending your videos. They're not sending in enough videos, you know, are you practicing? And you know, just holding me accountable. And I just absolutely love that. It's awesome. So it's been about a year, I think maybe a little longer than a year since I've, you know, been working with the single plane swing. Prior to, I, you know, may have broke 90 a few times. My handicap, if I had to have a handicap, it'd probably be, you know, somewhere around 20 maybe. My handicap's lowered to 7.1 as we speak. And I live in Pittsburgh, so it's not like I get to golf all year round. But again, I mean, it's just being able to learn every aspect of the swing. They're able to qualify the golf swing. You know, Todd knows, like he proves it through biomechanics. There's just so much knowledge and information on why the traditional golf swing is super hard to learn and why it doesn't work for most people, and why the single plane golf swing is simplified and will work for you if you just put what you're learning to use. Tim, with his short game knowledge, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. Like, I've never seen so much information on the short game, and to be able to take that information, put it to work, and use it in my own game, and see that it actually does work. These guys are just geniuses. I mean, they really are. So, super blessed to be a part of this academy and have Tim and Todd Graves, at the forefront of it. They're just awesome people and super knowledgeable.
Good afternoon. My name is Ed Harper, and I went single plane approximately 22 years ago. That's when I started. I saw an article about Mo Norman in the Golf Digest, and it said nobody knows what Mo knows. So I read that, and I was quite interested. So I started playing around with it for a few years. So I went to the school with my oldest son, and we both kind of fell in love with the single plane. 3 months after I went to the school, I got my first hole-in-one. So that really enticed me to go completely with the single plane. Well, I've had some medical issues and bad back, so that put me out of commission for a while. So the only way I could swing was with the single plane. I could not do conventional golf anymore, so I was completely single plane. It's the only way I could swing the club. And I noticed as I got a little older, I was still maintaining the distance that I had when I was younger. So I really liked that. I was more consistent and enjoyed the game just tremendously. The schools are great. Boy, it's really evolved, but it's improved tremendously. And I really love the on-demand, and I'm a gold member and have been for quite a few years. And I really like the coaches, that I can send something in and they'll watch my video and get me back on track. And the coaches I've met, Trent and Clay, have done an excellent job with me. So I've talked 4 of my friends into coming to the Graves Golf Schools. One that lives in St. George, and she loved it, absolutely. And 2 that live in Idaho Falls, and they loved it. And then the greatest thing I did come back this year was to be with my son and his son. So we have 3 generations here learning the single plane. Well, the most noticeable improvement with the single plane for me was hitting a lot more fairways, more consistent in the takeaway and in the swing in general. It lowered my scores quite a bit. I got down to a 5 handicap for many, many years and played in a lot of tournaments, won quite a few, and got high rank in quite a few other ones, and it's just really enjoyed it. And a lot of my friends thought I was crazy switching because I was pretty good conventionally, but I wanted that consistency and the one setup, and I didn't have to listen to multiple pros telling me this and that and changing my mind. So I just stayed with it because I love the idea of one model to go with. That's what I did. And here I am. I love it. It works. It's simple. My friends all know how simple it is because they watch me as I take their quarters or whatever. We have some small little bets and we have a great time with it. I want to get up every day. I love to practice and I love the game, and I just really look forward to every day that I can go play.
Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to the March Plane Talk. I want to welcome you to our monthly Plane Talk. I always want to introduce this as you're brand new, you're new to us, and especially this time of year because we get a lot of new golfers coming in, a lot of new golfers to our system coming in this time of year, and so I want to make sure we get those right introductions. My name's Tim Graves. I'm one of the co-founders of Graves Golf. My brother and I founded this company 25 years ago to teach and preach the teaching of Mo Norman or Mo Norman's swing and the single plane swing across the country. And obviously, Mo Norman obviously still hasn't been with us for 20 years, but single plane has become more and more popular. So we're starting to see a lot more people interested in what we do. But anyway, I want to welcome you to this March Plane Talk. And with me, I have a camera with me to start, is I have James Bell. And James is actually I classify him as my first assistant or the lead guy. I'll be honest with you, I think James runs this and I work for James.
Don't tell anybody that.
James's title is actually school manager. He's actually one of my master professional. He is the master professional school manager, and then runs a lot of part of our custom club company or our custom club issues. And I bring James up to start for 2 reasons, because I like to make a couple announcements to start, just for the fact that these are kind of the commercials of what we do, but it's the information, especially now that we're in the golf season. We haven't been outside for 4 or 5 months. We've been doing all these inside, and
this is what it looks like.
It's a little brown. It's going to start greening up very fast. Literally, we can watch it green up under our feet. But we got 70 degrees out today in Oklahoma. It's beautiful. I would have to say that March, April, May are some of the most beautiful weather we get, isn't it, James? I mean,
Yes.
It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's been 75, 80 degrees
October,
here.
November.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so let's make a few announcements. So again, welcome to today's Plane Talk. And basically the schedule for today is going to be a couple announcements. We're going to go through those, and then we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to have a couple giveaways here, and those will be added on at the end because we shoot this a day or two early because of weather. So we'll add those on at the end. We'll have a couple giveaways that will be announced at the end, and then we will go into a Q&A. I think we have 10 to 12 questions today, and I'll be able to do some outside work with you guys today. So that's great. So we good?
We're good.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is schools. Okay, and we have a very special announcement of schools tonight, a big one. We had an alumni camp set up April 7th through 11th in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
And I don't know why, but for some reason, alumni camps in Phoenix just don't do well. No. We sell them out in Orlando, we sell them out in Oklahoma City. In fact, we sell multiple ones in Orlando.
It's a fight in Phoenix to get people to go there.
Okay, whatever reason. So instead of having 2, 3, 4, 5 people in this alumni camp in Phoenix, we've changed it now. And we've changed it to a short game school on what dates?
On the 8th and 9th.
Okay, so listen to me carefully, because I want to stress this. On April 8th and 9th, we now have a 2-day short game school in Phoenix, at our Phoenix Academy. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and I wanted to bring it up as the first thing I talked about in this webinar tonight, in this plane talk, is because all our other short game schools are beyond sold out with long waiting lists. Am I right?
That is correct.
Okay. And we're probably not going to have another one until when?
September.
So did you hear what you just said there?
September.
September. Okay. Is it the most asked for school, James?
Yes.
Okay.
And especially when we combine it with the AAI,
Right,
which
right.
we have in March and June.
So this is just a 2-day short game school in Phoenix, April
8th and 9th.
8th and 9th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
And we did that so you guys can fly in on Monday, fly out the next day. You got a little cheaper flights coming in, the whole jazz, okay? Plus you can get, the hotels have gone down in price because we're after spring training. Am I right?
We are.
Okay, so we can, because we know what it's like out in Phoenix. But now, the other thing about schools is we have I'm going to have James talk to you about schools because we have the new schedule coming out and so on. And I'm going to turn it over to James.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Next week, I'll be releasing the remainder of June, July, August, for sure, maybe even part into September for the schools that, for the follow-on.
Summer schedules coming
out.
Okay, so guys, we still have open spots in April, May, June, but he's going to release basically the schedule through probably at least
the end of August, maybe and through September.
Okay, so be looking for that. I know a lot of you guys like to book, and that's why we put out there months in advance. And these will be 3-day schools, 5-day schools, even maybe another short game school way off in the future.
Way in the future.
Way in the future. So guys, if you want to get into the scoring school, this is the scoring school, which is 75% of your scoring occurs within 100 yards of the green. Actually occurs within 75 yards of the green. And this is how you quickly and most dramatically reduce your handicap, is coming to the scoring school. And don't trust me, all those guys in the chat room right now on this chat forum can talk about it, because I've had hundreds of guys who have done this, okay? And hundreds of guys and gals. If you want to do that, you come to a short game school. That's why they fill up so fast.
Yes.
Okay? And if you want one before September, which is the end of most people's season, get into this early one.
Get into the April one.
Okay. Now, we good in schools?
I think so.
Okay, schedule. Go ahead.
The big one in schools. April is pretty solid right now.
Yeah.
May, I've got a couple 5-day camps in May. People have been asking for 5-day camps.
Okay.
I've got 2 of them in May that still have a few openings.
And where they at?
Phoenix and here.
Okay, guys, Phoenix facility, phenomenal facility. You guys know, as you talked about it, Oklahoma City facility, can't get better than this. You want to come out here and spend 5 days with us? You got a golf course to go play on, you got a driving range to hit on, you got short game area here, you got putting green behind here, indoor, outdoor facility, phenomenal. And guess what? You're a member for 5 days with us. You're here doing the camp, and you get to run this whole place besides all the great instruction you get with us.
Yes.
This is phenomenal. I mean, and trust me, it will be greener than green where I'm standing in May. In fact, in 2 weeks, this will be crazy green.
Yeah.
It'll be crazy green out here. But guys, look at the schools. You want to get into school, get in ASAP. How do they get a hold of you, James?
Schools at gravesgolf.com. You can email me direct at jamesb@gravesgolf.com, or give us a call on the school phone.
Right.
405-250-6960.
405-250-6960.
You actually said that slower than
I did. And then jamesb@gravesgolf.com, or like I always say, and I'll tell you guys this 1,000 times today, timg@gravesgolf.com. It's always your fall down. It's the easy one to remember, and I'll direct you to the right person, okay? Second thing I got James up here for, unless I pull him later for something I need, clubs. Talk to him about a little bit about Elite. I mean, they've heard me talk about Elite. Tell them a little bit about Elite. Guys, Elite's been selling for almost 2 months now. We're getting a lot. We've had literally now, not hundreds, thousands who've gotten the product from us. We're getting reviews back from it. We're getting tons and tons and tons of reviews. Guys, remember, you bought product from us. If it's not good, you're going to email me and tell me it's not good. If it's good, you may email me and tell me it's good. Am I right? What are we getting?
We're getting lots of emails now saying how great the Elite is.
Tell them about it. Tell them about it.
Biggest feedback we're getting right now is the between the driver and the fairway woods.
Yes.
The driver is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Callaway talks about the dispersion, how great the dispersion is on the driver. We're seeing it. Our students are seeing it. Everyone's raving about how much closer to the middle of the fairway they're hitting. And that's giving them, because they don't have that sideways part, they're getting a little bit more distance with that. So they're talking about that. They're talking about the ease of fairway woods right now, how great they are. And what we're seeing now is a trend is the higher lofted hybrids are going away, and guys and the ladies are going to the 7 fairway wood, and some of them are going to the 9 fairway wood. It's a neat trend right now.
Remember, we still have introductory offers on those, and we still have that for the public out there. We still have the trade-in bonus. That's going away very soon. For the general public, that trade-in bonus will go away. Now, for the members, you guys always got it. You know that. But so if you want the lowest pricing on the Elite, okay, and you want the highest trading values, if you're trading in clubs, and even if you want just a driver, or if you want one fairway wood, you want to try one hybrid, guys,
try an iron.
Good. Remember, the key is you have to have every piece of equipment in your bag fit to you. And then when we're talking about the irons and the hybrids and the fairwoods and the drivers, particularly the irons and the hybrids and so on, it's got to fit you for length, lie angle, shaft flex, grip size, shaft weight, the whole set makeup, the whole jazz. If your bag, if it's not fit to you, you are behind the eight ball trying to make swing changes. And I always ask James this, because he's the one that lives and breathes and talks this. He's the one that goes to schools every week. He's got people right behind us right now. We got people getting instruction on the driving range. If you have an unfit club to the swing you're working towards, what's going to happen to your swing changes? What's going to happen, James?
A, the swing changes won't happen. B, you're going to hurt yourself.
Hear what he just said. I'm the guy who'll sit there and say, they'll happen slower and you might hurt yourself. Listen with the guy who deals with it every minute of every day. He just said, chances are you won't make swing changes. Number one. Number two is you're going to hurt yourself. That's it. Now, guys, here's the deal. You're working on the single plane swing, and I'm going to say this to you guys. You need to get your clubs built for you and your single plane swing you're working towards. But I'm going to say this straight out. You leave us 3 months from now, 4 months from now, go somewhere else. I mean, it's golfers. You make sure your equipment fits that swing you're going to go work on now. And with that other person or who it is. Do not just take, your clubs fit that. Don't just take the club you have now and go, oh, it'll work for that. Guys, that's the problem with the golf industry. I'm just going to throw this out to y'all. Is the equipment doesn't match the swing they're working on. That's what we do here, okay? Obviously, we want you to be with us. Obviously, we want you to be with us forever. Obviously, we can take you to the moon and back on your golf swing. It'll be amazing, okay? We can do that for you. But no matter what you're working on, you've got to have the equipment working towards that. And if you don't, it's not only will you not make changes, you're going to hurt yourself. Am I right, James?
And we hear it all the time. It's like, I'll just make it work. They're close enough. I'll make them work. And then we put a demo club in their hand that actually fits them. They're going, oh my, this is so much different.
Well, it's really crazy. You see this, and you see this at our 3-day schools and our 5-day camps. We'll have guys and gals come in here, and maybe half are fit and half aren't, because maybe half are new, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, the person that's not fit or hasn't been fit before will be like, yeah, I really wanted to work on my swing before I got they changed my equipment. Whether they tweaked their stuff or got new stuff. And all of a sudden, James or Brad or myself or whatever will put a demo club in their hand that fits them perfect, because we've got all the different sizes and shapes, and it fits them perfect, and they hit it twice, and they're like, whoa. They go, I've never felt that before.
It's completely different.
Completely different. And that's the key. So guys, email me, timg@grezgolf.com, timg, and if all this just fails, just get your fittings on file with us. It's a free service we do that gets your fittings on file. We'll open up a dialogue, and we'll work from there, okay? It's very simple, okay? So anything else you want to talk to me about, James?
No, good. Okay. Excitement at the schools. It's fun.
Schools are cranking. They're good. I mean, we got one as we speak running right now. We've got one going every week now, basically.
One in Orlando right now. One in
Phoenix
coming up next week. The one in Orlando, or the one in Phoenix last week. Here's a fun fact about it. Everybody in that school was fit.
I love it. Before the school.
Before the school.
Love it.
They all showed up with. Everybody had fit clubs.
I'm
going, this is a rarity.
No, there you go.
It made life so simple for us.
And it's amazing, because the ability to make swing changes fast with fit clubs, we see all the time. The ability, the chance of making swing changes that are permanent, that happen rapidly with unfit clubs, that's what happens. So anyway, I'm hoping I'm preaching to the choir out there. Guys, just email me at timg@grezgolf.com. We'll work on your fittings, whether you adjust what you have or you want to get one piece of equipment just to try it, whatever it is. If you want to buy one iron from me and just try it, we can do that too. Don't think it's something you got to get in this huge program. We can work out whatever we need for you guys. It's not a big deal.
Make it work.
Yeah, we can make it work. All right, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. I can look at my staff behind me. Are we good? That good for the announcements? Okay. And what I want to do is I want to get into the questions. So like I said, we're going to do this outside today. He may hit a few shots for you here. Depends on how the questions are, and we'll get working on this thing. So let me pull them now. I will tell you guys as I do this that I pull them up on my phone here. So I kind of work through the questions, as in with the sun being outside, it's always going to be hard to see these monitors with the questions. So so when I pull up my phone, I'm reading the question off, and I'll get into the question itself, okay? And then we'll go through, and here's the other issue I want to bring up on this. I hope you all right now are watching this live. If you're not, I understand. But you're on the chat forum right now. So you're in the chat in there. In that chat, it is right now being monitored by Chris. James is looking at it now, okay? I have a lot of staff that are watching this, but in particular, Chris Henning, when you guys put questions on there, he writes those down, and that's what you're gonna see in the next webinars coming up, okay? So not only do you email us these questions, they're in the chat, okay? So write them in there right now. So if I answer a question and it solicits 2 or 3 other questions, that's what we'll get to them in the next forum, next webinars, okay guys? So keep them going in that chat, keep that thing active. Okay, so the first question, any hints on transition, as I tend to rush number from position 2 to position 4, which is impact, is very consistent. Think my transition is off sometimes. What is the best drill for me to learn to feel this, okay? Okay. Well, first of all, guys, here's the issue. You guys are gonna think right now, and I always laugh at this, but when I walk up here, I'm gonna show you guys training aids that can be used to help you with these questions you're throwing out, okay? And trust me, this isn't the first time we've got the question about help me from position 2 to position 4 transition, or I feel like I'm losing transition, or I feel like I'm getting quick or inconsistent. Guys, we get this question every day, okay? And so after a certain amount of time, you're going to develop a training aid around this, okay? You're just going to do that because we know that 99.9% of the time you are practicing at home on your own. You're not with us. And as you do this, you want a training aid to speed up the process, make it easier, give you a better check system, okay? And there's no question on this that if you're talking about transition and you're talking about working from position 2, and position 2 is the top of the swing, to position 4, which is through impact, okay? So we got position 1 here, position 2, we go to position 3, then we go to position 4 through impact. If you're looking at transition and you're looking at, I get inconsistent, is I would absolutely 100% work on, after you've worked on hitting those positions, work on the swing thing. And the reason I'm gonna work on the swing thing is this, because the swing thing, as you're working on this, the way it's weighted on the top, okay, it actually will get you to feel the release of the club. And it will actually help you try to gain leverage through the swing by the feel of this chain. Because here's what happens. This is my explanation here. When you get at position 2, okay, which is the top of the swing, we get position 2. If your hips get ahead of your shoulders, so they start properly, which is the part of the kinematic sequence, but if the hips get ahead of those shoulders, it pulls this trail shoulder down. In fact, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times, if the hips start to swing and there's a separation between the hips and the shoulders, and there should be at least a 10, 15 or more degree separation, the hips will get ahead of the shoulders, the trail shoulder will drop, okay? The butt end of the club will point, or should, towards right field for a righty, left field for lefty. Now we can get back to impact in position 4. So getting those hips separated from those shoulders is what creates the proper transition from position 2 through 3 to 4, okay? But when you have the swing thing, okay, you can feel that motion. Because when I get up here, I can feel that motion, and I talked about in the last webinar, pull towards the target, or pull actually it feels like a little bit away from me. Whereas if I get here and it works and the shoulders and the hips go together, this is throwing across, and it feels like I'm throwing this basically to left field. So if you want to work on it, and again, I talked about in the last webinar, I got a lot of comments on it, so that's why we put this as one of the first questions. I need you to set an ABT down, okay, alignment ball position trainer. You can do this inside, you can do it outside, okay? This is a great indoor drill too. So you have a target line now. So pretend my target line's right down this alignment ball position trainer. Now what I'm gonna do is feel like I'm taking the swing thing and I'm trying to throw it towards right field. So it'd be like right now if I took this single plane position trainer and this is my target line, which obviously that would be my target line, but I'm gonna exaggerate this. And I'm gonna basically feel like I'm going to right field. Now, obviously, ideally, we wanna be just swinging right down this line. We wanna be going right down this line, perfect, okay? That's ideal, that's what we wanna do. But, you know as well as I do, we gotta exaggerate it first. So I want you to push this like it's a little bit to right field, okay, for righties, left field for lefties, and take this swing thing and feel like you're throwing it to right field. Feel like you're taking and throwing this to right field. And the very first thing you'll feel when you do this, because the weight of the end of this, is you'll feel a force against this knee and a force on the trail shoulder, feeling like it's going under, okay? You have to exaggerate it. And this swing thing allows you to do it. The ABT is the reference. So I'm trying to feel like I'm basically throwing a little bit to right field away from this, okay? And then, what is that? That's the exaggeration. So if I have a down the line view, and here's the down the line view here, obviously I want to set up on the ABT, I want to get the swing thing going right towards the target. But I'm going to have to feel like I'm going to right field or that direction to get this shoulder to go under, and that's the transition from position 2 to position 4. Because that transition is all about getting the hips ahead of those shoulders and getting the shoulder to go under and getting the hands to get the impact versus the shoulder going around, which loses the transition. And what you'll hear it described is I'm inconsistent. I don't understand the transition. I get too quick, I get too slow, whatever it is. You hear all those issues, and guys, it's all the same thing. It's just a way to describe of how do I help getting that hip separated from the shoulders and get that shoulder going under or dropping down, elbow getting close to the body, and feel like I'm exaggerating to right field on this. That's how we started. Nothing better than the ABT and the swing thing to do that. Nothing better. It's amazing how it'll work. Let's go to the next question. All right. Hey, Tim, any tips on swing tempo? Okay. Well, that's basically the same thing. Same thing that I just showed you. Here's the deal. And I'm going to throw this out. Let's talk about professional golfers. You watch some golfers that have a very slow tempo and they make impact. You have some golfers that have a very fast tempo and they make impact, okay? I will tell you right now that I'm going to suggest this. As we get older, we lose flexibility. It's just a natural way to do that, okay? And I'm going to give you some of what I'm doing right now. And you guys that have followed me in the Fast Forward training program, you know this. When you lose flexibility, we lose turn in the back, okay? Meaning we just are limited, the turn gets limited in the backswing. So maybe when I was 25 years old, I got the club almost to parallel. And maybe when I was 40 years old, I got the club maybe to, 5 degrees shorter parallel. And maybe when I was 50 years old, I got the club just where my, the almost parallel to the ground. I had good hinge here. And then maybe when I'm 70 years old, I barely get the hands to waist high. We lose flexibility, okay? And it tends to shorten our backswing, okay? There's no doubt about it. The longer you can get the backswing and the more leverage you can create in the hands, okay, the further you'll hit the ball. Now, I'm not talking about getting the club past parallel. I'm talking about getting to a good position with good hinge and leverage in the hands. Because what happens and what you see is as we get older and we lose flexibility, we get shorter backswings, but we also lose the hinge and the leverage in the hands. So one way to help this is to slow down the backswing, especially in practice. And to set up over a shot and just take a slow backswing and try to feel maximum turn and maximum leverage, then make impact. And I will tell you right now, and I told you I would relate this to you and myself, I have very dramatically for the past 5 months, and when I started the Fast Forward program, and my goal, and I did this with Chris, was to gain 20 yards in driving distance, which equates to about 7 to 8 miles an hour in swing speed. Right, and so I've been doing a lot of testing, indoor and outdoor, literally having swing speed meters, having launch monitors and everything else on me, trying to test this. And I've done very well. I've actually done very well. I've actually acquired I'm up to right now between 12 and 15 yards. I'm about 6 to 7 miles an hour faster. But the one thing I have seen that's it's through a lot of different things, and I'm going to release this information later to tell you exactly how I did it. I mean, it's been working through the Fast Forward training program, through a lot of flexibility training with Chris. But the one thing that I've also done is I realized when I had a driver in my hand that when I slowed down my backswing, I just slowed it down, that I would gain 1 to 2 miles an hour by just saying, keep it slow in the backswing. And the only difference, guys, the plane didn't change, my angles of attack didn't change, my path didn't change, but when I put it on video, what did change is my arm went back just a little bit longer and my hinge was just a little bit better in the backswing, my leverage, because I slowed it down. Which means, and the other thing would be, and Chris will tell you this straight out, it gave me time to get my hips and my shoulders a complete turn in the backswing for what I have. And that's what's helped me. So when you talk about tempo, I'm always going to tell you, slow it down in the backswing to get that maximum turn for you, especially as we start losing flexibility, okay? There's no doubt about that. Let's go to the next question. All right. Okay, number 3, I'm struggling with speed and inconsistent impact. Can you show me how to improve both? Yeah, I mean, we just talked speed, but let's just talk, I mean, inconsistent impact. I mean, here's the deal. I just did a podcast. I did one yesterday and I did one with Matt. Matt Vogel is our guy who does the video, was one of my 4, or actually there's 6 coaches now, who does our video training. So in other words, when you send in videos to Graves Golf, you're a member of our academy, you know, you're a member of the Single Plane Academy, a level 3 or above member, you have the access to send in videos to our coach. And Matt got on the podcast. I would suggest you guys, I don't know if it's out yet or not, but it's going to be very soon. And Matt talked about how he gets, you know, at least 10 to 12 videos a day. And when I was talking about this, I said, Matt, I said, what is number 1? And I said him straight out. I said, what's the biggest thing, if I said right now, the way the magic wand over these guys, what would be the things that you need to fix right away? And he said, Tim, he goes, it's the setup, is always the setup and or the grip, but typically the setup, okay? He goes, it's typically the setup. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, they don't have enough shoulder tilt. He goes, they don't have enough spine tilt at setup. They're not the right distance from the golf ball. They don't have the right width of stance or whatever it is, okay? He goes, and I said, okay. I said, how many times when you get a video, and I asked him this question. Now this is the guy who does videos every single day. Now I got a half dozen guys in the field that do this, okay? But I was just talking to Matt in particular, okay? And I don't know if you know Matt, but he's one of my instructors that travels a little bit with the schools, does this, very soft-spoken, okay? And he said, he goes, Tim, I go, Matt, out of all of the guys and gals that send in video to you, which is hundreds, I said, how many of them do not have setup issues, have a perfect setup that you can work on, it's just a swing issue? And he looked at me and he goes, 90% have setup issues, have problems. And I said, 90%? And I said, Matt, you can't lie to me. And he's a really religious guy. And he looked at me, guys, listen to the podcast. He goes, okay, 98%. Okay, so basically he was saying almost every single person that comes in has setup issues. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you have inconsistent swing, if you're making inconsistent impact, I can almost guarantee you it's a setup issue, okay? So you have to work on proper setup, because here's what happens. If you get over top of a shot or your setup and you're not set up in the right position, so one time you've got your proper spine tilt, okay? You got your proper spine tilt, you got probably proper shoulder tilt, you got your proper width of your stance, and you make an impact, and all of a sudden the next shot you get over and you got your stance got narrower, or your shoulders got open, or you lost your shoulder tilt, or you lost your spine angle, okay? Whatever it is, you're going to be inconsistent because the plane of the swing is going to change. If your setup changes for whatever it is, or it's not a consistent setup, okay, I promise you your swing plane is going to change. And take my word on this. Do not be thinking that, oh, I just swing it fast one time, I swing it easy one time, there's a quick fix. Inconsistency is from inconsistent fundamentals, or the lack of consistent fundamentals. The typical fundamental that breaks down is the setup fundamental. And it could be the distance from the golf ball. Remember, we're 26 inches from a 6 iron, we're 36 inches from a driver. It could be your shoulder tilt. It could be that your shoulders are open. It could be that you've got too much flex in your knees. And I know, and guys, so when you give me a question like this, I'm gonna tell you straight out, You have got to get and guys, if you send in a video and immediately the coach would say, hey, work on your shoulder tilt, and every single time you go out there and look at it and say, okay, is that right? Or get the right distance, or get the right width, whatever it is. And now we're gonna gain what? Consistency. Remember, Mo Norman, myself, my brother, all our thousands of students who have become very good at hitting the ball in single plane have a very consistent setup. It'll look the same every time. And the reason for that is that we've worked pretty diligently on getting into those positions, so that same consistent setup every single time, which matches our single plane model, will now allow you to get in that good single plane swing, okay? And that's what I'm gonna tell you right now. So when you talk inconsistency, guys, as Matt would say, not me, the guy who does all my video, he would say 98% of the time it's a setup issue. All right. In the single plane swing, should you see a coiling action on the right leg on the upswing? I think that's on the backswing. So basically, and when you talk coiling, uncoiling, and so on, in the single plane swing, okay, when we set up, we talk about the legs being straight but not locked, okay? So when I set up in a position, you can see this in the down the line view, when I set up in a single plane swing, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and lock my legs into a position that I'm in a bad balance, or I'm in a position right now that I can't create an athletic move. So if you want to do this at home, set up, get your legs straight, and then just relax them. Everybody's knees will look a little bit different, because some guys that are really, really tall may look a little bit more flexed because they've got tall legs, and some guys that are a little bit short may look like there's very little flex, okay? So don't look at it and say, feel it. It's much easier to do it that way. Now, so you get away from the ball, get the right distance from the ball. Now relax the knees, okay? Now, when you take the club to the top of the swing, your trail leg, so for the righty it's the right leg, for the lefty it's the left leg. When you get to the top of the swing, the trail leg does not go straight. The trail leg still has a slight flex in it. And the slight flex in it allows you to then create force from the top of the swing and drive down through the shot with force. If you get to the top of the swing and you straighten out that trail knee, the body is built to gain flex in the downswing, but the second you gain flex, it will throw your shoulder over the shot and will promote an over-the-top type swing. So when you go to the top of your swing, there should still be a slight flex in the trail knee. That creates the force in the trail side. Now, you drive into that knee, and that knee, which is a flex already, you create more flex, and it flexes towards your lead toe. This is what I just said there. So I go to the top of the swing, I have a slight flex in the trail knee. It's not straight. Now, as I drive down or I go towards impact, that slight flex increases towards that lead toe. And that's how you create the speed, that's how you create consistency, and that's how you create that correct path of that knee going towards that lead toe. And yes, you will hear this as the golden move in the single plane. Because it's not just a single plane, it's the golden move of every swing. But this is where we stress that when you go to the top, you do not straighten it. And here's what it comes down to. You need to be able to turn your hip, okay, and your shoulders, not independent of the lower body, but there is some independence. Meaning I can turn my hip more than I can turn my trail knee, okay, or my trail leg. A lot of our demographic can't do this. So when we say turn your hip in the backswing, they straighten the knee to turn the hip. So this is what they classify as turning the hip. Boom. Guys, I can turn my hip and my shoulder and basically move that leg very little. Now, we're moving it in the backswing. It's turning in. Trust me, it is. You're in the backswing, you're gaining more flex in the lead knee and less flex in the trail, but you're leaving a little bit of that flex in that trail knee, okay? Now, a great way to do this, take a leverage bag. This is a phenomenal drill, okay? And we talk about this all the time. Take the leverage bag, stick it up against your trail foot, okay? Now, turn towards the back, and that leg should still be against that leverage bag. If it straightens up or you slide your hip, you'll feel it go away from the bag. So take the leverage bag, put it up, just put it up against your leg, okay? It doesn't matter what club, do it inside. It's a great drill. Now set up like you're gonna hit a shot. Now turn back, and this leg should still be against the leverage bag. You can feel pressure. Now, inside, outside, now feel like you're trying to drive into that bag. This knee's going into that bag. And what I like to do is, and this is a little extra, and this is a great down the line view here, is take this stripe across the bag, this handle, and twist it at an angle. So like you're pointing it towards right field for a righty, left field for a lefty. Kind of a theme here, huh? Okay, now put this bag with that angle against your leg. Now go to the top of your swing and try to drive your knee on that angle. It's basically pointed towards that lead toe. I'm trying to drive my knee towards that lead toe so I can feel my body, my leg go into that thing. Now notice, as I'm driving into that leverage bag and this knee's going to that lead toe, what's my trail shoulder doing? It's dropping down. And that's the key. It's dropping down versus dropping around. It comes around, you're over the top. This is the shoulder over the top, this is the shoulder under, okay? It's a great drill. And that will help you keep the flex in the trail knee, which will help you, trust me, keep the club on plane, no doubt about it. So next question. Please show alignment and grip. Having challenges with the right hand, Jerry. Okay, so you're talking about the grip in general. Well, I'm gonna talk about the grip first and I'm gonna show you how everyone, it's not even train, it's how we remind, it's how we stay consistent, it's how, whatever we do, okay? And so I'm just gonna grab a club here, I can grab a wedge, doesn't matter. So when I set up over a shot, okay, or just put a grip on a club, put a hold on the club, okay? I'm gonna set up and we're gonna set up over the shot, and if you look, when I put the lead hand on there, the V of the lead hand basically goes between a logo on my shirt in the middle of my shirt. Guys, it's in that area, so that's the V of the lead hand. On the lead hand, the heel pad is above the grip, so it's not riding on top of the heel pad. The heel pad's above the grip. That's what creates the power. So if you notice, I can put this club up, I can sit here, and I can give you a down the line view here, I can face on. I can take this club and go up and down from the end, control it, all different directions. I can go back and forth, up and down, I can control this club. Okay, I can pull it back up, I can hold it down because it's underneath the heel pad. The second to get above that heel pad, I put it down. I physically myself can't even hardly bring it up, okay? That's how you can put the force and the power on the swing, okay? And when you set up properly, the pressure on this part of the hand between the small finger, the one next to it, the pinky finger, the next one, that's where the pressure is with the thumb on the top. Makes the V go to the middle of the shirt, okay? The trail hand comes on. We recommend obviously overlapping. If you want to do 10 finger, it's okay. I mean, if you want to do interlocking, it's okay. 10 fingers, kind of our third. All work as long as your hands are working together, okay? When you put the trail hand on, the V of the trail hand will point to your trail shoulder, okay, on a proper setup. So it's not under, it's not over on top. The V goes to trail shoulder. Now, here's the way to do that. Let's shortcut that. Because if you have grip issues, which is major, even when I talked to Matt, he's talking about there's a lot of grip issues out there. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna get either the single plane position trainer or the perfect impact, the single plane impact trainer, single plane impact trainer, or our normal training grip club. One of the two. You're gonna get this because it has a training grip on it, okay? And that is huge. And let me give you a little secret. My bag has one of these in there. I know Todd's bag has one of them in there. Everybody that we teach has one of these in there because this is how we warm up and we hit shots. So now we've got this, and the mold on this grip forces you to have a proper grip on the club. It forces you. You can't do different. It feels terrible, and I don't even think and with this flat side in the front and the mold on it, it'd basically be impossible it would be possible to improperly hold this club. Okay? So now I can set up and hit shots all day with this grip. Okay? I can hit shots all day with that grip. And I can practice, I can work on my swing, I can work on everything we talked up to this point, holding it properly. Now, once I do that, and I can work on this again and again and again, indoor, outdoor, hitting off mats, not hitting balls, just swinging inside, okay? I can now take this club right here, and it has the same markings on it. So these markings match what's on this club, and they match perfectly. And with those markings matching perfectly, I can now put my hand in those matching marks and now go out and play good golf or play golf with a good grip. And that's the transition, and that's it. And that's why we did this, because we know how important the grip is, okay? And that's why we suggest every club in your bag to have our grips on there, okay? Because those markings match what's on this training grip. So if you look at this, and you look at the markings, I got the top markings, I got the bottom thumb markings, and then on down here I got where your trail hand is, which matches this mold. Obviously it's illegal to put a mold on the club you play, okay? But they match exactly. The righty's got the red G up, the lefty's got the white G up, okay? So guys, that's how you match it, and that's how you get a perfect grip in the club. And then the last thing on that, is it's absolutely critical when you have a grip that grip size matches your hand size. Because if you have a grip that is too small, you will grip it too tight and you will cause a major, too much tension in your body. It will cause hindrance in your leverage. It'll cause hindrance in swing speed. You will lose leverage, you'll lose swing speed, you will cost you even accuracy. A grip that is too big does the same thing. Because a grip that is too big in your hands, we're not talking about, you have arthritis, we had a couple wraps. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, we start getting these jumbo grips on there. And these guys get these massive grips that are too big for their hands. It makes your hands go to the side. And when your hands roll to the side because the grip's so big, you lose leverage and you will lose significant distance, okay? People always ask me, what happens when my grip's too small or my grip's too big? When they're too small or too big, the first thing you lose is a proper hold of the club. The second thing you lose is leverage. And then you start losing distance and accuracy. Big time, big time. So we got to get a grip, and it's very simple what we do. We get a grip that we work on the molded grip. We work on it again and again and again and again. Guys, wear it out. There's no doubt about it, especially in my off seasons, but even when I'm starting to play a lot of golf, I'm talking tournament golf, I am hitting this club a ton. And this is how I warm up for the round. I get my hands on there. Guys, your hands can change. This is what freaks people out. Do you guys know that Ben Hogan on the golf course, not Mo Norman, Ben Hogan, when he played golf, would not drink cold drinks? It's a known fact. Like, he loved iced tea. And they sometimes even bring it out in between rounds. He wouldn't drink anything with ice in it, because if he got a cold drink in his hand, it would make his hand shrink up and they'd feel different on the club. Okay? So he wanted to always drink room temperature stuff on the golf course so his hands would stay the same feel. Well, guess what? Even beyond that feel, if you have a grip that's too big or too small, or your grip's it changes from today till tomorrow. Let's say you go work on your house tonight. You're going to work on your house and you come up tomorrow and your hands are sore and they're kind of swollen because you do all kinds of housework. I mean, we all do this. And all of a sudden you grab the club tomorrow and you're out here and go, man, I just can't get that grip on the right. It just feels weird. Guys, you're going to have a problem. I don't care if your swing is perfect. If your grip has changed, the way you hold it's changed, you're going to have issues. You're not going to, remember, your grip, your hold of the club is directly related to squaring that face. Okay, so what do? We get a grip training club on there, and we make sure no matter what our hands are feeling, or what is it cold out or hot out or whatever it is, we're always holding the club the same way, and that's the key. Okay, and I cannot stress that enough. There's no doubt that's one of our top training tools. No doubt about it is getting that molded grip on and make sure you're doing it right. Okay, so the next question: Can we see the move from 0 to 2 from behind? Movement of this sacrum? Yeah. Okay. Sure. And this 100% single plane position trainer, guys and gals, let's just be honest. And this is something I can't stress enough, that you sit here and do this again and again. And I'm going to throw this out, especially to those that send in videos, okay? Send in this video to our coaches. It was the next thing Matt told me. Guys, this guy right now, I'm doing this webinar, he's inside, he's probably already reviewed a half dozen videos today, okay? And he got another half dozen he's going to do tonight or this afternoon. And Clay's down in Orlando doing 10 today. And Trent's up in Utah doing 20 today. And we got Parker sitting in Atlanta doing 10 today. Guys, I got guys all over the country reviewing these videos, okay, that are being sent in. And it's amazing how little we get of training. We get guys just hitting full swings in their backyard or out in the range or whatever, okay? Send this in. Send this video in. So I'm setting up right now. I've got position 0. I've got this set up, and I'm going to go 1 foot in, and I got position 1, okay? So we're going to go from position 0, okay? So this is my setup on position 0 to position 1 to position 2. Okay, now, the one thing I'm going to add to this is I'm going to take a club, or I'll take a yellow stick here, a yellow lemonade, and I'm going to set this down between these two. So between the back ball and the position 1, I've got a line set up so you can kind of see that. Now, here's the key on this. And this is going to answer your question pretty straightforward, because this is the #1 fault we see. When you step with a single plane position trainer, this is touching your pivot point. So when you got a proper setup, okay, and you set up in position 0, this is touching your pivot point. Now, when I turn to position 1, so I turn my hips and my shoulders turn to position 1, this is touching the same exact pivot point. It has not changed or gone across your belly or rotated across. It has stayed touching that point. So what I want you to do is set up with a single plane position trainer. It's touching this pivot point. I want you to pinch yourself in that spot. Just reach down with your trail arm and pinch that spot. I want you to feel that spot where that's touching your body. Now, You're hyper-focused on that spot. Now, go to position 1, it should be still touching that same spot. Because a majority of our students, what we see, when we see them in person or see them on video, is they do this. Or they do it just a little bit. They get this rolling across the body. And what that shows is improper hip and shoulder turn from position 0 to 1. So I've got to go to 0 to 1, keep it on that pivot point. Now I cock and hinge and I continue the turn to position 2. Now most of you, and I'll just be honest with you, a majority of you, over 50% of you, will not get this pointing to that golf ball. You're not that flexible enough. And that's fine. That's fine. We talked about that earlier. But it should point on the line between those two balls. So it should point on that line. It shouldn't be above it. It shouldn't be below it. Okay, so from a down the line view, if I go position 1, position 2, that's an on-plane golf swing. If I go to position 2 and I'm here, so it's pointed there or inside this line, that is steep. If I go to position 2 and I'm above it, so it's pointing up above it, that is flat. So you're gonna have to do some type of compensation in the downswing if you're steep or you're flat, okay? So the things to look at here, and you guys, train with this. Number 1, it's just great flexibility movement. Number 2, it's got checkpoints written all over this thing. Guys, we got marks in here. There's a black line on the top of this that when you go to position 1, you don't see white on the right or left. It says straight down the middle. It says dead even. If I get inside, I see too much white. I see no white on the right, I see white on the left. If I get under, I see white on the right, none on the left. The blacks just stay dead in the center. Okay, that's why it's a visual for you. The black stays dead in the center. When I go to position 2, when I get here, I look down, it's still dead in the center. If my hand is cupped or if it's a bad position, I see too much white on one side of the black or on both sides. That's what this black line is for, is to give you a visual to make sure that you got the good angles of the backswing. But that's what that's all about. And I can't stress enough how important it is to maintain that pivot point, okay? Let's go to the next question. I'm told light grip creates speed and impact. Any training idea for holding the club lightly? Oh yeah. And it's kind of a theme. I love when we have themes on this. Okay. No matter what you're using, and I'm gonna give you guys, this right here is probably the best training you can do for getting speed, okay? By grip pressure. Here's what I want you to do. Is you're gonna take this swing thing, okay? And what you're gonna do is you can hear this. So as I swing the swing thing, I can hear it, okay? Now, you could put a swing speed meter up there, I do that. You could put, you could have a TrackMan up there. You could put a $5,000, $25,000, $50,000 apparatus back there. You don't need it. You can hear this, okay? You can hear this with the swing thing. And here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna experiment with this. So when you're gonna do it first is you're gonna set up with the swing thing, okay? And you're going to grip it as tight as you can. Listen to what I said. As tight as you can. You're gonna death grip this. Like I'm scared this is gonna fly out of my hands and I'm gonna death grip it and you're gonna swing it. And you're gonna see and listen to the sound. And you do it again as tight as you can and you're gonna listen to the sound. You'll be able to create a little bit of speed. You're turning the body, you're getting the arms moving. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna think, okay, that was a 10. That was as tight as I can grip it. Now I'm gonna try to bring this down to like a 5. So I'm gonna bring this down to a 5 where it's about half that tightness, okay, or half the firmness of my grip, and I'm gonna see how much speed I can create. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna start coming down. You say, okay, I'm gonna hold that a little bit lighter. And you're gonna hold it a little bit lighter and do it again. And see how much, and listen to it. And you'll hear the swoosh. And instinctively, you will hear it if it's swinging fast or not. And then you're gonna bring your grip pressure down to a point where you can still hold on to the club and control it and create your maximum speed. And that's the grip you're now gonna go and learn and play with, okay? Now, the biggest issue here, and this is the cool thing about this, is on this swing thing, there's a mold on this. That mold on the bottom, on the trail hand, that mold on there will allow you to grip this with a little bit of, I should not say pressure, but a little bit more confidence that's not gonna swing out of your hand or not gonna fly out of your hands, okay? Now, the second you put your club in your hand, so I take that club, you've lost that mold in that trail hand. But I want you to feel the same pressure in that thumb and that forefinger, like it's gripping the club. Because that mold is gonna teach you where the pressure point is on that trail hand. And that pressure point on that trail finger, on that thumb and the pointer finger of your trail hand, that is the release of the golf club. That mold creates pressure on that part of the hand that releases the golf club. So, because guys, we've got to create speed with release. That's what squares the face and releases the club. So think about it right now. Look at my trail hand. I have my thumb and my forefinger basically in a great grip position we talked earlier. That position creates the right pressure points, which squares up the face with whatever speed I create on it. I get so many students that do this. They come in here and the thumb is on the side, or they don't have the right pressure point. Well, here's the problem. That thumb and that forefinger no longer square the face. So they have to square it somewhere else. And what they will do is they'll do this and turn the body hard and twist to try to square the face. Well, if you turn the body and twist trying to square the face, so in other words, they're ripping the shoulders open trying to square the face because they can't do it with the trail hand, now we're coming over the top every single time. This is why a majority of golfers slice the golf ball. It's one of the reasons. It's because they never learn how to hold the club properly, have the right pressure points in the grip, which if you do it properly, it naturally squares the face. Now you can get in the club and square the face. What they do is they rip across it like this, trying to square the face with the body because they're in proper grip pressure. So you take the swing thing, and not only do we learn speed or the feel of speed with softening up the grip, we learn the right pressure points, okay? So work on that. It's a great drill. Use it again and again and again. Go to the next question. I'm having difficulty with my approach shots from 75 yards and in. Specifically, sometimes with the same swing, I hit at 50 yards and the next swing 70 yards. How can I get more consistent distance? Well, number one is you got to practice it, okay? And I'm going to give you a little trick of the trade here. And you got to practice this, okay? I'm going to grab a wedge here real quick. I'm going to grab one, that little shorter wedge, okay? Now, when you do different shots, okay, and this is all about wedge charting, we're going to use the short game board. So I have the short game board here, and we're going to use the short game board. And we start shortening up the shots. Obviously, the swing is a little bit shorter when we have shorter shots, because obviously you're going to swing it naturally shorter with a 30-yard shot than you are a 70-yard shot. But more importantly, we start doing ball position. So we start pushing ball position slightly forward in our stance to create more of a lob type shot. That's why it says lob shot in the short game area. So I'm going to take a short game board down, okay? I'm going to set up over the shots, and then I'm going to start putting different ball positions on this board and working from that ball position, hitting consistent swings to hit those short game shots. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to get somewhere that has some type of targets or a meter inside that's accurate, that's reading your distances. Because if I go out here, I'm hitting this shot and I don't practice it, so I'm on the golf course and I hit a 50-yard shot and I hit a 70-yard shot and they're inconsistent, it's because you're not practicing it. You've got to go find this. So right now, at my range here, I've got this first target and it's right at 40 yards. And I know that. So I can sit here right now and I can sit up over this shot and I can hit it again and again and say, okay, how far did that go? And right now, that landed at 38 yards. Okay, that landed 38 yards. So I know from right now, the feel of that shot was 38 yards. So I can get up over here, look at that target again, and I can sit here and say 40, 40, 40. No, that's a good ball. Notice I hit that shot and it went too far. I can move it slightly forward in my stance and try to shorten that up a little bit. Okay, let's say it went a little bit too short. I can back it up in my stance and try to hit it a little bit further. And we're talking, guys, these are shots you're hitting with lob wedges or the most lofted club in your bag, okay? But the key on this is that you're hitting at targets or you got a meter down here that's accurate, that is giving you the known distances, okay? Because if you're just out there and you're on the golf course and you're trying to hit 150, then you're trying to hit 170, then you're trying to hit 160. If you're not practicing that, you're not practicing that touch, trust me, even the greatest players in the world are not good at it. You've got to go do it and practice it. So I know right now that's 40 yards, so I'm gonna do it again. And what I like to do is in my mind, I actually say the number. I go 40, 40, 40, 40 when I'm hitting towards that and hit the shot and go 40, 40, 40 and hit the shot, okay? And I look at that and that landed 42. So guess what I'm doing? I'm putting the feel of the swing, I'm putting the feel of the shot in the yardage I'm calling. Now I may do that for a while, then I might go to a 60-yard shot, I might go to a 55-yard shot, I might go to whatever the distance is out there. I'll go shoot them and go hit towards them. Today, tomorrow I may come out here, we might move the ropes up and that might be a 35-yard shot. Great. And maybe the one to the left of it is now 55 instead of it was 50 yesterday. Great. Hit towards those, but as you're hitting them, start moving ball position. The more forward, the shorter you hit it. Use your most lofted club, but know the distance and say that distance to yourself again and again and again in your head when you're hitting that shot, and that's how you'll get a feel for that. And now when you go on the golf course, think about it. Let's say I hit, let's say that was a 40-yard shot. And let's say I hit 20 shots at that. And then I go on the golf course and I have a 50-yard shot or a 45-yard shot. Instinctively, I know that's just a little bit harder swing and I can move that ball back just a little bit. You will subconsciously do that, okay, over time if you practice those distances a lot in your practice sessions. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more question. I think we got to take one more. I have a hard time getting an effective chip when I'm 20 to 30 yards off the green in the second cut of the rough. PCP usually indicates the chips. In other words, putt when you can, chip when you can't putt, pitch when you have to. It says I need to hit a chip. I usually get too much grass. What is the best approach to the shot? Ed Hubbard. Great question, Ed, okay? Here's the deal. Chipping is all about angles of attack. So when we have the ball in the back of the stance, okay, in our angles of attack, we've got to be chipping down or making good angle of attack. So this is what I want you guys to do. When you talk about getting too much grass between the ball and the club face, you're losing the angle of attack. So I want you to get your short game board out. Make sure the ball's in the back of the stance. You have to have that because it's the perception versus reality, and it's crazy how many people will get out here and the ball will not be in the back of the stance. It'll be towards the middle and you're going to lose angle of attack. That's why chip has got to be in the back of your stance, okay? It has to be. So get your short game board out. Get the right, because guys, notice, that's in the back of my stance. All I'd have to do is do this, and I basically just moved to the middle of my stance. And trust me, when I don't have this board, that's very hard to see that, okay? So when I put the short game board down, I can see it in a second. That's critical. Remember, the short game board works on chipping, works on pitching, works on lob shots, okay? It works on all of it. So this, guys, this, other than putting and other than bunkers, this board works on your short game. This is what I just said. 75% of your scoring occurs within 75 yards of the green. We talked about that earlier, okay? Other than putting and bunkers, this board works on it all. Okay, think about that. Okay, so now the thing's in the back. Now I'm gonna get something else. I can grab a stick. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab an ABT, my alignment ball position trainer, and I'm gonna set it behind it. And I did this drill on the last one and I got a lot of common sense, so I'm gonna do it again. I've set this perpendicular to my target. Now, it's about 2 club heads away. So notice, it's about 1 club head, 2 club heads away. Okay, so it's just about 6 inches away from the ball. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up and I'm going to hit some chips. So I'm guaranteeing a great ball position. I've got something behind it, and the reason is because this will give me the right angles down. Because the last thing I want to do is take this club away and go like that with the club. That's not a chip. A chip is a cock, is a hinge, is a turn up, getting this club up and down, up and down. So now I'm going to set over here and just hit a couple chips. Okay, and put that ball in the same ball position right across from the board and hit a chip. And the reason, that's perfect. The reason I'm doing this is because I promise you, if you don't have this board here as a guide, you'll instinctively start moving this forward to make it easier on yourself. But we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to put this board here on that position, okay, and I'm going to move it closer. So now it's just past 1 club head. Okay, so notice it's probably maybe 3.5, 4 inches. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hit a chip. No problem at all. Put the ball in the same position, okay? Put it right there in the same position across from the chipping position, okay? Hit a chip. Notice what this is doing. Not only am I getting good angles back, I'm getting good angles down. Because what most golfers that have problems with hitting heavy shots or fat shots chipping or hitting too much grass, they do this. They cast in the downswing. They don't hold that angle down. And when you don't hold that angle down, it's very easy to think about this. When I got good angles down, you can have a ton of grass behind the ball. Good angle down is going to get through that grass or minimal amount of grass. If I cast it or flip it, it's going to catch all the grass between the ball and the club. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to come out heavy or come out fat. But this time of year, when your grass is dormant or it's thin, or any time you're in the grass is thin, if you hit behind it, you're going to blade it. It's going to jump into the golf ball. So you will either fat it or you'll blade it. So this drill keeps you from what? Hitting all the grass behind it, or if you have thin grass, it gets you to catch the ball first, not blade into it. Because too often you watch golfers who don't create the right angle and they hit behind it and they blade it. okay? So put this just behind it. Don't have to have a ball there. I like that you can have a foam ball inside or a ball outside, but work on making a little divot on the back of that stance, not hitting that board. Have a game with it. How close can you get that board to that spot and not hit it? How close can you get there and not hit it? That's the angles of attack you want. That's amazing. And why do I have this and I use the ABT? Because you ain't breaking this, okay? Too many times you'll have a stick or something down there. I don't want you to lay a club. You hit the middle of a shaft of the club, you'll dent it, okay? Or even a graphite, you could break it and work on this angle. All right, so is that it for tonight, I think? Okay, now, we're gonna have winners and they're gonna be posted on here. We shot this early, so we wanna have registrations. We wanna give everybody the last chance to get in last minute, okay? I didn't wanna do that, we did this outside. We always run this at night, okay? So obviously, we shot this a little bit earlier so we get outside for you guys, okay? But we're gonna have winners tonight. Or we're gonna have multiple winners tonight and you'll see them on the webinar. You'll see them posted here now, okay? But I just wanna remind you one more time before we get off tonight. Number one is, it's that time, it's golf season. If you're not sending in videos to my coach, you're not working with my coaches, you're behind the 8 ball. You want rapid improvement, you get into us, you start getting videos to us. I know you guys are like, I can't get to school, but you can get videos in. I asked Matt, he goes, it's crazy the amount of improvement he's seeing in the guys that send in videos, and that's coming from the source, okay? I got 6 guys out there doing video reviews right now. It is super, 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 super easy to do it. If you can take your phone, you can hit record on your phone and film something. You can film yourself and send it in. It's that easy, okay? So get a hold of me. I'll get you lined up. We'll get you in. It's not that expensive either, okay? We got monthly plans that can get you in to get you guys videos sent in. It's very, very simple, okay? That's number one. Number two, you're gonna start hearing very, very soon, and this is the teaser, our Single Plane University information, very soon. And this is our 30-day plus program, step by step by step by step program over specific parts of the game. Okay, and you're gonna start seeing releases on this. This is like our SP30 on steroids. Is the best way to put this, okay? It's not advanced work, but it's very detailed work, unlike the driver, unlike how to work on the range, on putting, on chipping, okay? It's step-by-step process of what you do on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. It's training programs, and they're gonna be phenomenal. You're gonna start seeing that release very soon. It's called Single Plane University. There'll be a session 1, then eventually session 2, session 3, and there'll be different topics in every one of those. They're gonna cover our 7 principles. You'll even have them on mental game. You'll have them on fitness. They're gonna be amazing, okay guys? So when you see Single Plane University out there, that's what it's all about, okay? Remember, Single Plane 30, which is a great program, is our basic program to start on just learning the swing. It's great. It's a great program. That's SP30, okay? And a lot of you guys have gone through that. The next step up is Single Plane University. Single Plane University, it's gonna be amazing, okay guys? That's the next thing. Third thing is short game school. Don't forget about it. Because I promise you right now, and I don't know the numbers because I'm not doing this exactly live, but I promise you right now, we're only gonna hold 14, 15 guys, or fit 16 in the school, guys and gals. I promise you there's already 5 or 6 spots gone, okay? Because it'll sell out that fast. So don't miss that school coming up here in April. And James just did that. He just changed it over for you all, okay? So don't miss that. So you guys need any clubs? You wanna talk custom fitting? Talk schools? Just got general questions. You can always email me at timg@graysgolf.com, timg@graysgolf.com. I'll get you the right person. I'll take care of you guys. And guys, thanks for being part of Grays Golf. Please don't hesitate to call us or email us anytime. We'll take care of whatever you need. Golf season's here. We're ready to rock, okay? Can't wait for it. So guys, let's get out. Let's have some fun. Let us know what we can do for you. Talk to you real soon.